Hey, what's going on? It's Musicians Forced Podcast, brought to you by the good folks at Harlem, Hayfield. I'm Mikey Shoneman. This is Keenan Wilcott. He's sitting in with me this week. And let's go. I've been waiting to get you on here with me so I could ask you, like, how musical were your parents when you were a little kid?
Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, my folks have always been super into it. I can't remember how active they were as far as like playing in cover bands and stuff locally, whenever I was real little. But I mean, they played for like their church, and I grew up listening to them play. My mom played the piano all the time. My dad showed me stuff on guitar. And that's what I started on whenever I can't remember how old, but I started learning.
Did they push you to any of it, or did you just kind of naturally gravitate toward it because they were doing it?
I think just being exposed to it, you're drawn to it because like if they happened to be into, we were not a sports family,
right?
But if they were super into it, I'm sure that's like
it would just kind of over a little
exactly.
bit.
So I was exposed to drums and guitar first, and that's what I immediately really wanted to do.
Right.
But at some point, I think it was, I think 5th grade. The reason that I made the switch to electric bass was because Mrs. Mari, love her to death. She's amazing.
This was actually my next question: is what made him choose bass? Because you play like everything.
I pretend to play a lot of instruments.
Yeah.
Bass is my home. That's where I belong.
Right.
But the rest of them are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mrs. Mari, she played electric bass, and she taught our band and was like, hey, I know how to teach this better than any of the horns. If you just want to play the tuba parts, I'll let you play electric bass in the band. And I was like, well, that signed me up. So that I've just kind of stuck with that kind of as the transition. But
you said, Miss Mari, I don't know if you know this, but the prophecy spoke of a band that would happen.
That's it. I just ran into her really recently, and she's really down to come and catch one of our upcoming things.
Did she know you were in a band and doing things?
We've just
stuff like
talked
that?
about it years past, and she knew that it was kind of a thing, and
she knew about Hayfield or other bands you'd been in and stuff.
Oh, we just caught up, and I told her about Hayfield, and she's pumped to come see us.
That's
she's the whole reason
is she from around here? She's around here.
Yeah. She moved out of state for a while, and she just moved back about a year and a half ago. So we reconnected at an arts council event, and it was cool.
Killer.
It was cool. But she got me on that track, and my folks have always been supportive of any venture that I wanted to do.
Right.
But like I was real little with 2 pacifiers in my mouth, sitting behind a tiny drum kit, just going tink tink tink, not playing any beats at all. But they're like, yeah, he's having fun. Let him do his thing.
You were kind of the same way with the musical family.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're like, Bugs, you're on keys, learn this or you're grounded.
Or honestly, I took up piano so early that I can't remember if I grabbed it first or if they did. Like I'm sure they put the keyboard in front of me and were like, "Hey, maybe this will work."
This will shut him up.
Because I have photos of me as a little kid with like a tiny little, like, I think it was a hippo. It was like a little like
hell yeah,
those, like, xylophone
the
pianos.
Little kids' toys.
But I also had a fucking badass Muppet Babies drum set when I was a little kid.
Muppet Babies slaps, dude.
So I did get a chance on the drums, but I think I was drawn to the piano, and also I think what really made it happen, I think we were given an upright piano by somebody who was getting rid of it, and when my parents got it, they were like, fuck it, let's give them lessons.
Yeah.
But like they had already taught me songs on the piano, so like I already knew my way around, like, timing and melody and stuff.
The higher keys are over here. Do you have anything that sticks in your mind, and it could be from a TV show or a book or anything, that has sculpted a habit of your life that you caught when you were a childhood? In childhood, I'll give you an example because this just triggered my memory. You said you had a Muppet Babies thing. When I was a kid, there was an episode of Muppet Babies where they were all brushing their teeth, and the other Muppet Babies were giving Kermit shit because they were like, "You don't have any teeth. Why you brushing your teeth that you don't have?" And Kermit's like, I brush my tongue so my breath don't stink.
Hard.
To this day, after I'm done brushing my teeth, I will brush my tongue.
Yep.
Because Baby Kermit suggested, and I don't want to have rancid ass breath, so I brush my tongue. Because of fucking Muppet Babies. And that's just been ingrained. Do you guys have anything like that, or am I just a fucking whack job?
No, yeah, I sleep on my side because of the Muppet Babies talking about that.
What?
Yeah. No, I don't.
You fucker. I was just like,
He lost me. I was like, I missed that episode.
Yeah,
I got a deep
same
dive.
thing. I was like, man.
So you gravitated. You
gravitated.
You gravitated toward bass because your teacher said bass. But
Yeah.
you never did you ever keep learning more on drums and guitar?
Oh yeah. I went back.
Just natural
I went back for
curiosity?
sure. Yes, yeah. I think there was something deeply ingrained. I would spend hours just watching a good close friend of my folks, Lavelle Pete, plays in the area.
Lavelle, yeah.
He did a VHS tape on
For drumming?
gospel drumming, and I would just sit there for just loop it over and over and rewind, just watch it as a kid. So I always wanted to go back on drums. I think there was something in the back of my brain that couldn't let go of that. I always knew my dad considered himself a bass player first, that also played guitar, even though he's an incredible guitar player too. So that probably influenced it to some extent, but
Right.
I wasn't ready to take the leap until I was like, I can do this stuff at school and home. Let's do that. Yeah.
Because I remember you kind of came onto the scene, if you want to call it that, indicator, around you were probably 15.
Yeah.
Pressure in Time.
Yeah.
Was
Yep.
that
Sure thing.
Was that your first play out in public band?
100%.
It was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another testament to my folks, they are the umpteenth understanding and patient people ever. We could be practicing until midnight or whatever, just loud,
They're
going.
it's fine. We love you.
And they're really chilling. They're like, this is great. This is cool.
It's probably nice that they know you're not out running the streets.
That is fair.
And you're just he's safe.
Yeah.
He's in the garage. He's doing music.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Now
And
we
you
run
didn't
the
suck.
streets, but
It doesn't
yeah,
smell
true,
like smell like the devil's lettuce in there. It's fine.
I remember
For sure.
I was always really timid about being allowed around the house. Even I was never told
We can't tell.
keep it down.
Say I'm wrong.
I'm not gonna say no.
Exactly. When you guys were playing Pressure in Time, we had talked. A lot of the first gig instructors were like, "We need to get Keenan into camp," and I don't even think it was to teach you anything. I think we wanted to get you in the camp just to make us look better to the public. Look what we did with this kid that was already this good before he came in, but you didn't know that.
I would have absolutely loved to do the program.
It was just a scheduling thing.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah. I just had summer jobs, so that it just never.
Get your paper, boo boo.
Yeah.
You got to work.
Yeah.
I always did too. When I was 16, I didn't even apply for my first job because my dad worked at Playmore at the bowling alley, and he called me middle of the week when he was at work. I was here, and he said, "What are you doing Friday?" I was like, "I don't think I have any plans." He's like, "Okay, you start at 5. You're working at the bowling alley."
There you go.
I'm like, "Oh, should I fill out an application?" Or he's like, "Well, fill out your tax form and stuff when you start." And then I ended up working there 2 years. I worked my own post-prom. I didn't go to any of that bullshit. I didn't go to a single sports game. I didn't go to any dances. I think I went to a junior high homecoming dance just to make my parents think I was normal and socially adept or whatever the hell. No. But I didn't care about any of that shit. I just wanted to work. And then I worked at the bowling alley, and then one of the people that bowled was the manager of the video store. And she was like, "You ever get tired of this job, come see me." And I got tired of that job. And then I worked at a videotape rental place.
Quentin Tarantino style?
Like Clerks. And I pissed off everybody that worked with me. Because everybody, at that time, it was predominantly VHS. Yes, I'm old as shit. But everybody had to take turns. In the video store, you had TVs playing movies and stuff, and everybody had to take turns picking a movie.
Oh.
But it had to be a PG movie. Couldn't be PG-13 because there's little kids in the store, and you don't want them seeing Die Hard or something on the movie screen, on the TV screens, So everybody picked people pick Veggie Tales or whatever and stuff like that. And then I tried picking Jimi Hendrix concert VHS because I was like, that's cool. I'll listen to Hendrix for an hour or so. There was interviews in between the songs, and every other word was motherfucker. So I had to take that out. And then I found Leonard Skinner's Freebird movie and Pink Floyd's Pulse concert. So I'd intertwine those. And then when I started just trolling people, I would pick the Chicago Bears Super Bowl Shuffle. And what's nice about the Super Bowl Shuffle VHS is it's not just a 3 or 4 minute music video. It's an hour documentary of the making of the Super Bowl Shuffle, where they're talking to Jim McMahon and all the Bears, and then a 3-minute video. So this whole video store was just sitting there listening to the Bears talk about making their music video. And everybody's pissed, except me. I'm getting into the free dum-dum suckers and just giggling. Like, oh, this will be all? And it was weird. You could see, like, your high school teachers coming in and going into the back room and, like, Mr. Jenkins likes Butt Sluts Volume 4. This is his 8th time renting it this year.
Yeah, that's got to be weird.
It's very weird.
Pre-internet.
You see him in class, and you're like, I know. You might want to mark that as an A.
You should
You might want to mark that blank piece of paper as a B+.
You're handing in your homework. You're like, you didn't rewind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as someone who went like most of my like early adult life being like, I'm a video guy.
Yeah.
I make short films. And so I was a musician, but that was like the secondary part of my life. And so now, like, once I like started shifting and was just like, oh, I think I'm going to make music more of a priority in my life. And then I met you guys and it was just like, wow, hard fucking 180. But I'm still able to use the video stuff for the music videos. Yeah. But it's interesting that, like, that early in your life, one big part of it was trolling people with a music video. That just, for some reason, that little full circle thing of, like,
it is kind of poetic, isn't it?
Making people watch a music video documentary over and over again, and now you're making music videos. It's kind of a nice little full circle moment.
I don't know. I just like the Bears, and I was like, yeah, this is
man.
I'm not here to start no trouble. But yeah, as far as like music as a kid, I was never in any of that stuff. I never did choir or any singing of any sort. I played violin. My dad was I played violin in 2nd grade. It doesn't count. Because my dad was a stickler for, if you start something, you're going to at least finish the year.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but I ended up being in violin for like 4 years and still couldn't play a damn thing on it. It was just it's not me. I remember one year I thought cross country would be a great idea. And I had to do the whole damn year. And I was last. Every race I was last, or run, or trial, or whatever they call it in cross country. Every country I crossed, I was the last one. Just waddling in.
A full year?
Just sweaty, yeah. I mean, it wasn't it was a full school year.
Yeah. A full season or whatever.
It felt like more than that.
Yeah.
It felt like an eternity.
Yeah.
But, whatever.
Did you ever go out for any sports?
I mean, yeah, I stuck with tennis longer than everything else, but I did a couple years of basketball. I started track for like a very short time. That was one of the few things where my folks were like, "Oh yeah, you could quit doing that."
But you actually did several seasons of being an athlete then.
Yeah, pretending to be an athlete for sure. The basketball, I was tied for worst on the team every year that I did it, but it was a great time. I was the last year that I played basketball.
Okay.
The other times,
late spurt.
Less.
When I was a little kid, my parents brought me out to do like t-ball, like the little league thing.
Yeah.
Because you've been to my house. The little league field was 2 blocks away from my house.
We played on it.
Yeah. We did a show on the field that I played baseball as a little kid.
Yeah.
Yep.
So my parents dropped me off. I was probably like 7 or 8. And they came back, and I was sitting in the dirt in the outfield, like drawing. And they were like, "All right, he's not ready for this." And I was like, "You are correct."
I would like to go home, please.
Yeah. But after that, there was only one time I considered sports after that. I was in high school, and someone was like I was always told, like, "You got a big frame, fat kid. You should go out for football."
Yep,
and I was just like, "No, thanks." And so, but someone was like, "You should do wrestling." And I was just like, that sounds like football, but with more squirming on top of another dude.
with somehow more balls.
Yeah. And so for some reason, someone convinced me, like, maybe wrestling is for you. And I was just like, all right, I'll give it a shot. So I showed up early one morning. I went to a practice. And because I think it was like, hey, come on in to practice with us. And I just did like a lap around the room, and I was like, and I went and got a donut in the lunchroom, and I was just like, oh no.
But you ain't gonna wrestle? Like, I'm a little sweetie pie. No. The only thing I did, I mean, besides the year of cross country and dropping out of violin, what finally got my dad to say, okay, you can quit violin, was we were having like concert nights on Thursdays, and that was the night he bowled. So it was like, I can't come to your concert. I'm like, I could also not come to my concert. I could, like, not do this. And I'm just trying to look out for you and your busy schedule.
Yeah, look.
How about we just stop doing this? But I bowled. I mean, obviously, I grew up in a bowling alley. So you bowl youth league and stuff like that.
There's rhythm in bowling. That's musical.
Yeah, kind of.
I just like bowling because the pressure was off. It's me against me.
Yeah.
Or me against the pins, but there's no one else. I'm not relying on anyone else. It's not like a defense. And no one else is relying on me.
Right.
Yeah.
The coach, I mean, he can yell at me for throwing the ball like a shithead.
Right.
But it's not the same as baseball.
That's
so
something he's going through in his personal life. Yeah. It's not against you.
You know what? You know why I was down with bowling? Because I was able to eat pizza during the game.
Yes.
That's why I was down.
Yeah. That's definitely a plus.
That's, yeah. I was just like, wait, this is a sport?
Yeah.
All right, I'm in. Yeah.
You talking about, like, it's you against you, I think that's what drove me towards tennis rather than any other thing, because I was a very uncoordinated kid, and I, like, late high school was whenever I actually, like, learned how to move at all. So, like, team-based stuff like basketball, you've got a group of other guys that rely on you,
like
and you're flopping around or whatever. And like, call back to you saying like undiagnosed anxiety years ago, like I was like, no, that's not for me. But tennis, I was like, I can go head to head with somebody else and it's fine, because if I lose, then they're better than me, and if I win, then great. Like,
yeah.
But it's
that was
you're
a great
not
time.
If you lose, you're letting yourself down.
Yeah.
Not letting.
And that's a whole different
someone
ball
else
game.
down.
Yeah, for sure.
That's more tolerable. I've gotten used to letting myself down so much over the years.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, today's gonna be the day we're doing, and then by like 10 a.m., like, tomorrow is my day.
Yeah.
So, hey.
And then by 11, I'm like, maybe the weekend if I'm not busy.
Yeah.
You were talking about having decent like rhythm and timing or coordination. I can't remember if it was or later for for tennis, and that got me thinking. Like, I am a confident person when it comes to talking, bullshitting, playing music or whatever, but one of the things that I've always had a hang up on was dancing. I cannot, and it's not even that I can't dance.
Yeah.
It's just that I feel very uncomfortable.
Okay.
Like, I don't.
So you're not dancing like no one's watching?
I am never dancing like no one's watching. Even when no one's watching, I got my head on a fucking swivel.
Yeah.
I don't like it. There's something about it. Like, I'll move around a little bit. Like, when I'm behind the keyboard, I'm getting it.
Right.
My shoulders
That's
are
all
moving.
shoulders.
Yeah.
Stationary hips.
So I feel it.
Right.
But I am not a confident or comfortable dancer, and I think
And you
it's
just think people are judging you, or
it's not even that I think people are judging me. It's just that I, like, in my head, I'm like, what is
that
this?
I know.
Yeah.
What's even happening right now? Like, I watch someone else who's dancing, and I'm just like, how do they think to change it up and do that now and do this instead of just being the one who's just like out there doing this?
How do you know
what
to
I mean?
change it up when a breakdown's coming?
Exactly.
They're just feeling it.
Yeah,
Yep.
but here's the difference. Not everyone is expected to fucking play the piano at a wedding. Did you do any extracurriculars?
The only other one that comes to mind, I was on Scholastic Bowl, and I was the only person at the school to become ineligible due to low grades.
No way.
It was senior year. Senior year, I completely gave up. But I still loved hanging out with the people that were on Nerd Bowl, and we would go out and do meets or whatever. And the superintendent was like, you got to quit sports and you have to quit Scholastic Bowl until you get your grades
Academic
higher
probation?
Yeah. And I was like, well, now I'm just going to decide not to do that now. I made a lot of decisions back then, but I had a good run. I answered exclusively questions about Star Wars and music, and I was the resident expert on Korean history. And I proceeded to miss every question that was about Korea in any way.
You're like, you guys realize I wasn't there for that, right?
Oh yes, the Great War.
Yeah. You're like, my soul is telling me something.
Hey, this has been Musician Sports Podcast from Harlem Hayfield. I'm Mikey. This is Keenan.
Hey.
Hugh behind the camera back there. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, comment, all that shit, and we'll see you next time. Peace.